Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Amelia and here on this channel we talk about writing, journaling, and productivity to help you curate a life that you love. So today we're doing another scrapbook, art journal, junk journal spread because I love them and I do them every Friday, if you didn't already know. So today's spread is probably, okay, look, I say this a lot, but every now and again I surprise myself and I make a spread that goes down as one of my favorites. And this is one of them. Today's spread is a fantasy art journal spread and it was so stinking fun to make. Now I did use some new products, some new stickers that I absolutely adore, but I don't know if I can link them for you in the description below. I got them at the Dollar Tree, but I will go into detail about which ones I'm talking about once we actually get into the video, but I just wanted to put that out there that if you guys want similar things, I got them at the dollar store, so I will put down a link if I can find one, and if I can't, I'm really sorry. Anyway, before we hop into today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you like these art journal spreads. It lets me know that you want to see more like this, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel because then you get to see more things like this. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the making of the fantasy art journal spread. Hi guys, welcome back to another scrapbooking session with me. Goodness, this is so weird. I haven't been able to do a lot of scrapbooking recently, so I'm actually recording this voiceover like literally hours before this video goes live, so this is a little stressful, honestly. But anyway, YouTube and editing aside, today we're doing a fantasy spread, and my goal for this, honestly, was to make some really cool, like, interactive content. So I'm laying out these trees, bushes, grass to make like a forest aesthetic, and then I was using my ruler to measure how much space those take up because I am going to make them like little flaps. Like the forest will be like a little flap that you can open, so you could see some hidden secret fantasy stuff in the back. So you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second, but yeah, so I'm gluing down these little paper cutouts that I used. I actually, if you didn't know, and if you did know, well, I'm gonna be repeating myself, but I use Canva a lot because it can be kind of expensive to buy tons of stickers, especially for unique projects, and Canva has a ton of free stickers and content that you can use, and I love putting them in my little spreads and such, and it's just super helpful. I absolutely love Canva. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I absolutely love what they have to offer, and I use them almost religiously for like everything. But that's where all of these images come from, so the grass, the trees, the bushes, all of it. So as you can see here, I glued down the trees and then I put them on this paper, and then I cut out the paper so that way it like fits the trees, if that makes sense, like it goes around the edges, so that way it will flip up. And so what I'm doing here is lining them up with the paper, and then I'm going to put some tape. I'm using a green washi tape. I believe I got this one from Michael's. I'll have to go back and I save all the links when I buy things, so that way I can put them down in the description box below, but I think that's where I got this washi tape. But I'm using it as a way to create the flippy part of the foresty thing. So as you can see, you basically, the idea that I was going for was that there will be like this forest, these trees, and then when you like step through, when you part the trees, then there is more behind, which you'll see once I start adding it, but that was kind of the goal I was going for. And when I thought of like a fantasy spread, for some reason, just this little like flippy aspect was very important, and so I included it, and I honestly think it's so fun. It's very creative, at least I think so. And it's something that I have been trying to put more in my journal, like more creative, interactive pieces and features. I think it can be really easy to fall into this mindset or like this trap of just creating spreads that are very flat and very one-dimensional, and while that is good now and again, I think that you can do that and achieve some really great spreads and ideas. I also really love the idea of having like little flipping tabs and extra, half pages, having flowers, ribbons, just more interactive content. I have a whole video about interactive journaling if you haven't seen it, but in that video I talk about it a little bit more and why it's super fun to have in your journal. And I think that recently I've been trying to step out a bit more and do something really, really creative and unique with my journal, because I just feel like it's necessary. I feel like I've been falling into that trap of using just one-dimensional decorations. I don't know where I'm going with this. Like just making it too one-dimensional, and I want to make it a bit more exciting, something that's new and innovative. So here I am also using my X-Acto knife, and I'm cutting out these like I'm cutting out the gaps for this fence is what I was making. I was making like a gate type of thing. I drew it with Crayola Super Tips, so I just drew some lines, made some swirls, to make a fancy gate. And then as I was cutting this, I realized I needed something at the bottom, because then all of the little parts would get all ruined if I didn't. So I went ahead and colored another piece to make for the bottom, and then I just attached it to the little gate and then cut it so that way it fit to size. So that way when I do cut out the little gaps between each like bar on the gate, then it would have that effect of being like an actual gate where you can see through to the other side, which is what I really wanted to go for. And this just keeps it from tearing and being a mess, because I don't want it to be a hot mess. So you'll see that once I finish cutting it. And I basically used it as like a little gate, at the end of the forest. So when you part the forest, which sounds kind of crazy, but if you like part it, you're like opening a gate to another part. It just looked really cool. I really liked it. Now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't really make much sense to have like a gate that parts a whole forest, but look, it turned out pretty good. At least I think so. So I went with it anyway. We're just going to go with it. Just go with the fact that the gate can part the whole forest. We don't have to ask too many questions. But yeah, so I'm attaching it here. And because I have a ringed like a spiral journal, I had to leave a little bit of a gap between the two gates. If you don't have a spiral journal, I feel like you could get away with putting them really close together so it really does look like the whole gate aesthetic. And then of course for me, I wanted to keep these from flying open at all times, so I tried to tie them. I actually used this like twine like ribbon that I got from the dollar store a while back, but it was too chunky, so I ended up having to swap it for some string that I got around Christmas time. I went to Target and I bought these like little gift bags, and they came with this like cute candy cane colored twine or like ribbon thing, and I had a lot of spare like string, so I just used some of that. So I can't really link that specific like string for you because it came in like a Target seasonal package, and as a person who used to work at Target, I know that it's not on sale, and it might not be on sale again next year, as in like you can't go to the store and find this. So I don't know if I can find anything for the string below, but that's what I used, was some holiday string just to tie it. And honestly, the red and white worked pretty well, I think, with the fence gate, because I was thinking it would look a little silly and twine would have been better, but honestly, it brought some color into it, and I'm not mad. So I also used a little brown envelope on the side where I will have a little journal prompt, and then this is the thing I was talking about earlier, where I said that there were some stickers I got at Dollar Tree that I don't know if I can link. So I got these little rub-on stickers. I've seen them before on TikTok, I've seen them on Pinterest, and I never knew what they were. I was like, what are these people doing? Rubbing things and then pulling the plastic off, and I had no idea that these rub-on stickers were a thing. But I went to the dollar store and I was looking for stickers, and I found these rub-on stickers, and they're just so gorgeous. I got a unicorn like fantasy set, and then a bunch of others. Like I have one that is dedicated to like fashion, and then I have another one that has like plants and cacti. There's just so many things I ended up getting, and they were all $1, which is super affordable, and honestly, I was impressed. They are really good quality, and they stuck on really, really well. Next to it, I am drawing a rainbow, which was a big part of this spread. I actually had the rainbow on the other side, so everything was like, when I planned it, everything was on the opposite side that it is now, but this just worked better, so I went ahead and put the rainbow over here. I'm using my Crayola Super Tips, and as you can see, it's not perfect. I had to I only made, I think, 1 or 2 like full lines without having to go back and color in a little bit more, so it doesn't look perfect, but it works. And I'm honestly pretty satisfied with the way it turned out, and I think that it's something super easy that you can do. You don't have to use Crayola Super Tips. They are pretty inexpensive if you do want to use them, but you could use any markers and create a little rainbow, and honestly, it felt so magical. So I'm using more of those little rub-on stickers from that one page that had, so there's like some flowers and little raccoons and a bird, and I thought that it would be very magical and sweet, so I went ahead and put those on there, and then I'm using this little tool, which I also got at the dollar store, and I'm just rubbing them on. So once that was finished, I did have a little quote that I wanted to put on top of the journal spread, and it says, "Dare to dream." And part of it was because I was trying to think of a very simple quote that would work with a fantasy spread, because everything was kind of built on the fact that I got these unicorn stickers, not gonna lie. So I wanted something that was fantasy, but like generic fantasy, you know, and I didn't want to do like a happily ever after or like a once upon a time type of thing like up here, mostly because I have a once upon a time stamp that I'm going to use in this spread later, but I tried to come up with something that was kind of magical and felt personal to me, so I went with the Dare to Dream. I don't know, fantasy things seem very much like dreams to me, and they're very like soft and whimsical, and that's what I went with. So using some of my stamps that I got from Michael's, I did the Once Upon a Time stamp, and I put that on the page, and then I have another one that says, "And they lived happily ever after, the end," which I'm putting up in the top corner. Again, fantasy things often make me think of storybooks and storytelling, so I went ahead and did that. And then I added tons of pressed flowers to my journal because I'm obsessed, and I honestly need to go out and get more flowers and press them because I haven't done it in a while. Alright, and here I am using a calligraphy pen with a little nib on the bottom and dipping it in ink to write a little letter journal note. I will link these products below. This pen isn't actually meant for dipping, but I did use it as such because it was a bit easier, and as long as you clean it, it works just fine, and it's kind of fun to dip a little pen in ink. It feels very vintage and whimsical to me, so I really loved it. Alright, and that was the making of the fantasy spread. Guys, oh my goodness. This was one of my favorites. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to show you guys the final flip through because this spread, it just feels so wholesome and fun. I want to do more spreads like this, maybe in regards to like fantasy stories, books, more book spreads. I would like to do some more spreads that are like themed towards movies or books, and if you guys are interested in that, please leave a comment down below letting me know which movie, which book you would like to see in a spread. But I really loved this fantasy one, and I kind of want to do another one. Honestly, I kind of want to do something else, maybe a different color, maybe a dark fantasy type of thing, because I just love dark fantasy stories. Neil Gaiman has my heart when it comes to literature. But anyway, yeah, I am not going to continue talking about this because I just want to keep gushing over it, but let's go ahead and get into the final flip through and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, and here is the finished product of the fantasy spread. It's very colorful, it's very vibrant and filled of magic to me anyway. I put a bunch of stars and little dots everywhere to kind of fill up the empty space. I added a few washi tapes, just taped down the flowers that needed taped down and glued down the other parts. And then, of course, as I undo the string, we can open the gates, move the forest, and inside we have a beautiful little unicorn and then some little raccoons. I put a little quote on the side with some stickers, and then of course in my little brown envelope I have the paper that I wrote on with my little calligraphy pen type of thing. I wish I knew what it was called. I will link all of it below, but I kind of forget at the moment as I'm recording this voiceover. But it was super fun to write with it and to, you know, really get into this like fantasy vibe. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Probably going to be one of my favorites, and I'm super thrilled with the creativity that I put into this one and the unique elements like the string and the pages that part to show you what's underneath. I haven't really done that a lot, so it's really fun to experiment like that with my journal. Alright guys, and that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of these scrapbook and art journal spreads with me. They're so fun to do, and I love pushing myself to do different things in my journal, and I really hope that it inspires you to do something similar or to step out of your comfort zone when it comes to artistic journaling. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and until next time, I will catch you later.